aquí, que encuentra una bala, busca la segunda, desactiva la mitad.
You gotta be kidding me! On top of the brakes, what is occurring?
Welcome back to Week 5 of VCT Americas and our second matchup of the day as we get ready for Leviatán versus Evil Geniuses. Golden Boy here, of course, joined by Mimi and Sean Gears as we look to talk about this upcoming matchup and break it all down. And let's actually just start off with Leviatán because the reality is they had a weird super week for a team that I think we all regard super highly. They beat MIBR. I think we all were very confident LEV, a great team, can be able to pull that one off. But then they lost, Mimi, to 100 Thieves in what many could be regarded to be one of the most exciting matches we've had of VCT America.
It was a fantastic match, and that week to me felt like kind of the duality of Leviatán, where their fantastic game plans and structure is their biggest strength, but also in a lot of ways, it can be one of their biggest weaknesses. In MIBR, they executed on the game plan perfectly, rolled them over with the retakes on both maps, and on 100 Thieves, I think a lot of that same structure that worked for them worked against them in the preparation that 100 Thieves put in to counter them.
Yeah, in the beginning part of that series against 100 Thieves, I was very impressed by Leviatán's prep, how they approached Icebox, getting it across the line in a super close matchup against 100 Thieves on their map pick. But then they kind of fell apart on the next two maps, letting 100 Thieves win on Haven with a Gecko comp. And then the closeout game, the 1-on-3 against Bang, that just seems so atypical. When I watch the rest of Leviatán games, I can't help but think that the comms got a little bit flustered in that clutch situation, and maybe the nerves got to Leviatán in the late stages of Lotus.
Yeah.
And that's where Leviatán now has a lot of pressure on them, because the storyline for this team has kind of been that they're always super duper good in the early stages of tournaments, of events, when teams can't really prepare against them, when they can just roll over with their game plan. But when things get late, they fall apart. It's what happened in Lock-in. They got stomped by Na'Vi after looking like a team who could play them so incredibly close. And now that loss to 100 Thieves kind of shows similar worrying signs to me.
Yeah, but I will say, though, that despite the loss, it could have been a lot worse. And I think part of the reason why it wasn't was because, you know, you had King coming in hot with some pretty big clutches and kept them competitive in that game. And, Sean, that is what you expect out of King, especially the caliber of player he is.
King and Nazor, they both actually had really good impact throughout that series. And honestly, throughout the entire league so far. But King on this role, he kind of flexes all over the place. Here you're going to see him on Haven, on this Viper. We see him on Breach as well. So he is a pivotal player on this team, obviously the in-game leader. And here you're just going to see his mechanical prowess throughout all these clips, because it's not just in-game leading when it comes to this guy.
No, he's incredible as an individual player. Yeah, the clutches were absurd. Like you're saying, kept them in it on Icebox, made it really competitive on Ascent as well. This is a guy who steps up when his team needs him very consistently. But to the point that you were making earlier as well, about this squad looking like they were crumbling, you can also put some of the pressure back on him, because it is, at the end of the day, his responsibility to help keep his squad calm, to help find that adaptation with Owner, to keep him in these close matchups when they're really getting pressure.
While I do agree with you, I think a lot of the problems when I watch Leviatán play these close games against 100 Thieves, I want to see more impact out of Taco. I know it's possible. I've seen Taco take over these games time and time again, going back all the way to the chamber meta. This guy has so much skill. But when he's so restricted in a lot of these rounds, I can tell his thoughts, they don't come almost subconsciously, because he's always thinking about what he's supposed to do. And I want him to play reactively and just use his skill a little bit more.
There's somewhat of a comparison there to NRG, I think, where NRG talked a lot about how their first few weeks they were trying to play too perfect, too structured, and they didn't have the flexibility they needed to win the games. That seems like it's also, to an extent, true of Leviatán as well.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. You let this team cook, and boy, oh boy, they will make you some delicious dishes, right? And I think that is what we want to see here from Leviatán. But let's go ahead, though, and move on to their opponents here, because they're going to be facing off against EG, Evil Geniuses. Now, unfortunately, they had a disappointing super week results-wise. You know, they ended up losing both the matches. But the thing is that both of those games were against Brazilian teams. And on top of that, we had started to see EG on the upswing a little bit, even if it's not that much reflected in the standings.
I felt like I watched the same match twice for their super week, where they win map one with great preparation over a Brazilian team where they're the heavy underdog. Then they go to Haven, and it looks looks like they're going to close out. It gets super scrappy. They lose that game and then just get rolled in the third map. It happened both against Loud and Furia.
It's so depressing for EG because, yeah, those were the hardest opponents maybe of the entire group, right?
Yeah.
And they had them on the ropes. Both teams, they could have won 2-0 in both of those series. But that's not the world we live in. They lost both the series. So they have to go back, and I think it's going to come with some time. It's definitely a depth issue when it comes to this team, as far as not being able to flex deep into their map pool, play that third map really well. But you can see the preparation, like you said, early in this series, like this round right here.
Against Loud as well, the prep was perfect. They were countering out where players were setting up by default. They had good setups with this double duelist comp that they pivoted to. EG's strength has always been in coming up with the ideas. Even in this pistol round, they have this heavier play towards me. They're ready for this double dive to come on in. And Busio does a good job of stalling so his teammates can rotate over and punish this fast hit out of Loud. But where it falls apart is when it deviates from the preset plans, where it deviates from that initial idea, when things get scrappy, when the pressure is on. That's where this team starts to fall apart, as they did in both of their matches of Super Week.
I think another area where EG has struggled a little bit are the times when they decide to not run duelists, like we saw in Lotus last week when, you know, Demon rocked a Killjoy. And previously we commended him for his ability to flex across the agent pool, played multiple agents in his opening best of 3. But here it's just not working as well for EG. It doesn't look like they have the sense of direction that they have when he's in that jet role, when he's always leading the hits, getting value out of his Blade Storm, opping aggressive angles. That was totally missing on the 13-0 Lotus, obviously.
And you can see as well in the later maps of this Loud game, the individual prowess was coming out. They had that freedom for Demon 1 on this Haven. He was popping off. It was clutches that was keeping EG in. It was clutches that was keeping Loud in. One play going a different direction could have changed the tide of that one. But when it came down to a map 3, where they were against an opponent that was setting up good structure and they were falling to pieces, they never found a way to get back into that game. And that's where I find their matchup today against Leviatán very interesting, because in a lot of ways, Leviatán is counterable. They repeat strats a lot. They're very structured. If you watch back their VODs, it's always clear the idea they're going for. EG's a team that's good at prepping for that, but they were also prepped in the previous matches, and they couldn't win those.
Well, you mentioned, you know, the 13-0, and we have to talk about it, obviously, on Pearl. Now, for Loud, obviously, VCT Americas first, huge for them, right? And I look at that, and I feel like I'm seeing a team in EG that is, we had talked about this before, they're afraid to lose more than they want to win. Sometimes it feels like. And then they start that first game. Everything's perfect. They're pounding, they're destroying. And then the playbook just goes out the window. Why do you think that is, Sean?
I think it's just the immense pressure on them to win, right? They want to win so bad, and they come out with zero expectations. The whole community doesn't expect them to win. So the first map, the game plan looks great. Everything goes their way. And then the second map, they finally get that first taste of losing. And that's when things just slip away from them. It's like they crumble under the pressure. Flavor. Yeah, the reality of potentially losing the series catches up to them, and they never catch back from that moment, and just slips right away on the third map.
And another thing, too, was, and I feel like for Demon 1, moving him from the Jet over to the Killjoy, well, of course, we've seen plenty of duelists do that in the past in previous maps and teams. It's just, I feel like for a young player like Demon 1, maybe just let him cook.
The strength of Demon 1, I think, is in the simplification of the roles. You can pop him on Jet, he's going to be aggressive, he'll play to your game plan, and he's going to be consistently pretty solid. He's not an OS boss, he's not going to be the best player in the world, but when you set him up for success, he will succeed. The issue I see is when EG falls back into their week 1 and 2 issues, where they're running before they can walk, where they're kind of overcooking the strats, coming up with this really advanced game plan, but failing on some of the fundamentals.
And that's why I like him on the Jet, is because at any moment, a Jet can kind of scrap the game plans. A Killjoy can't do that. A Killjoy has to stay within range, use utility, can't have an escape method when you're opping. Whereas a Jet can kind of just decide to make an individual play on a round or use a piece of utility and make that play. And Demon 1 is very, very proactive on the Jet. And that, like I said, that's completely missing when he's off the Jet.
He could have been the catalyst in that final game of Pearl. They were waiting for that round, that play, to kind of regain the mental to realize, hey, guys, we can win this. We can make a comeback happen. But that never happened because they had this game plan with the Fade Sky, which I think was a sound game plan, but they just didn't really execute on it.
Yeah.
And once that initial idea failed, they couldn't adapt.
Yeah, and as we've seen in VCT Americas, like adaptation, mid-round adaptation, just being able to just read what your opponent's going to do, as we saw in that last game, and then try and build your strategy against them can go a long way. Maybe we'll see that there for Evil Geniuses as they take on Leviatán. But guys, in this current meta, you know, here's the thing: roles, they're getting switched around. All right, players, they've been, you know, looking to play either the Phantom or the Op, or they pick up a Phantom and then they just pick up light armor as well, which has been something that's perplexed me because as a gold player, I need to understand these things. So we asked the pros about their thoughts on this very unusual trend.
Phantom and light armor. Buying light armor is sometimes better just so you can buy the next round. You can have more rounds to play with.
I don't know who started the half armor thing. There's like a bunch of teams that run it. Mostly we learned it from Fnatic.
And both of these teams have been committing to the light armor. Not every single team in Americas is doing that, but Sentinels and NRG, both of them, happy to go for it.
You don't really need full armor, I feel like, personally. Because if you get headshot, you're probably going to get fragged anyways.
Basicamente é uma arma que tem 30 balas, dá pra você dar spray mais com certeza, que na Vandal não vai.
Just Phantom in general, like because of the two controller thing and the two walls, you're going to be spamming a lot, and obviously you can't see tracers with the Phantoms.
A Phantom acaba pegando muito mais, porque em LAN é muito mais difícil você abrir na pessoa y tipo, no tem aquele abuso de ping y tal.
Y es más importante tener un arma antes que tener un chaleco 2 cuando te gastas 600 créditos, es mucho.
Geralmente vai ter armados em rounds que você não teria se você comprasse o colete 2, então é basicamente isso.
I feel like it's just like a confidence thing almost. Like if we lose pistol and you know someone has 30 kills or 20 kills at half, like giving that guy a gun on an eco against like you know maybe they don't have a gun, they have like Bulldog Spectre or something like that.
Kingston has to hold it on his own. He's gotten one.
One enemy
The time
remaining.
is short. He's got to hold it. He's got to hold it. Oh my gosh! These are now trying to move into the site. It's a 4 versus 2. Demon looking to answer back onto a third into this round. Now bang. Oh, looking for the transfer, and he's gonna get it.
Yeah.
The Red Bull Clutch a 4K into the round.
We're going to get into our match soon, but there's a short issue with the PC. Sorry about that delay, but there's good news. We've got a game to play here on VCT Americas. It's a brand new game show that we're calling Are You Smarter Than a Gold Player? And luckily, we have a resident gold player right in-house. Golden Boy, welcome. So happy to have you. He's been gold since Act 1, really solid player. And on the other side, we have Sean Gares, a coach who brought a team to champions, a former pro player in Counter-Strike, a Radiant and Immortal player here in VALORANT. He's fantastic, and I hope he knows some basic stuff. Right, Sean?
My hand hurts.
I'm going to get actually owned in this. This is going to be terrible and embarrassing.
Okay, you'll do fine, trust me. Let's start things off. Sean, pick a category for me.
Oh my goodness. I will go with Iron Economics.
Iron Economics, let's get things started. Let's pull up the question, please. The question is, how many credits does a Vandal cost?
I think it's 2,900 credits.
Yes, you're correct.
Yes.
I'm very glad you got that. I'm proud of you,
Let's
Sean.
go.
Good job. Very good work. GB, did you know that one?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, I trust you. Let's move on. We have some more questions for you to choose from. Let's head to another one. Sean, where do you want to go?
Ooh, well, this is going to be tough. I'm going to go Bronze Anthropology.
Nice, orderly.
The best one. The best one.
Okay, got some anthropology here. Ooh, a little bit of a lore question. What country is Cypher from?
Oh, I think it starts with an M.
Wait.
I don't know now.
Starts with that. Do you not know? Do you need to call your gold player? He can help you out.
Is it Morocco?
I believe you're correct.
Let's go!
Let's see. Morocco. Right on. Good job, Sean. He knows the lore. He knows the game. He's got
like
everything.
a genius out here.
You look like you were ready to answer, though.
Yeah, actually, I did know what the answer was because I am a lore junkie.
Yeah, instead of improving from gold, you've actually just been focused on the lore.
Pretty much.
Very
Make a
interesting
book.
choice. Okay, let's move on. Sean, your choice.
Ooh, silver history or gold math? I'm going silver history.
Silver history. All right, good history question. Classic.
This music is great, by the way.
It's a banger. Let's check this one out. What agent number is Sova?
Gosh.
Didn't he come with the game?
Yeah, but what number is he?
How does that work?
The gold player's counting.
I'm guessing they didn't make the guy that like scans through the walls first. They made Jet first. So I'm gonna go like 4.
Okay. Gold player, do you want to get in on that one?
But I'm gonna let the gold player answer. I feel like I trust GB actually.
He knows the lore.
Can I actually defer to GB?
Okay.
Yeah, you can defer.
All
Let's
right,
see.
I'm gonna say 7.
7?
Yeah.
This is why you're gold. 4 is correct. God, fantastic work, Sean. 3 and 3. Great work out of him. All right, let's see if we can go 4 and 4. One last question, Sean.
Oh, no, it's
Gold
math.
Gold level, this is the hardest one.
I'm a
GB should
caster,
be
I can't do
fantastic
math.
at this.
No.
This is actually above GB's rank almost.
Oh, it's math. It's okay, Sean. As Chamber, you buy Heavy Shield, Frenzy, Ares, 6 Headhunter bullets, and your trademark. How many credits are you spending?
Oh my God. Okay, so 1,450. So 1,450.
Start adding it up,
What is
guys.
an Ares? I don't even buy that kind
I think I might be.
Don't tell him, gold player.
1,800.
Keep the answer to yourself.
So sorry.
Bro, we are way up there. I'm deferring to Golden.
Yo, I don't
I'm
even
out.
play Chamber.
I'm out.
Do the math.
Headhunter
You should know
buddies,
this. You watch
150 apiece.
I'm gonna say 3,300.
3,300. Let's do.
Oh, that's
Whoever's closer wins this one. 3,300.
I don't know, man. I don't play Chamber.
Sean, can you do any better?
Bro, Golden Boy got that Sentinels discount. This thing has to be like, I'm guessing. I'm not.
Well, I don't
doing
pay
this
the
math.
same price as everyone
I'm gonna
else
go 4,400.
4,400. You're closer. It's 4,150.
No.
How did you add that one up? Can you talk us through how you got to your number, Sean?
I'm not gonna lie, Mimi. I just took a bunch of numbers and I kind of like
Yeah.
jammed them, and it came around 44.
Yeah. And I will be very honest with you. The New York public education system failed me.
Oh, was it that? I feel
was
like you could
definitely
just
that.
like, watch the Valorant and learn from that one. Maybe it's not on your education,
No,
GB.
it's unfortunate. My brain just doesn't work that way. I
Must have
just
been
don't
a
know
sub.
math.
You got to sub that.
Math is
Yeah.
hard. All right, well, Sean, 3 and 4, pretty good at the video game. I think he'll be sticking around in Immortal and GB. Sorry, you're left down in gold. We got a short commercial break, but Leviatán versus EG is starting just on the other side.
Welcome back, everyone, to VCT Americas. Hopefully you had a little fun there with us, and I just want to let everyone know I'm just gold for the content.
That's not true.
Yeah.
Copium.
I'm just so good. I was immortal one time.
You were
One
Immortal
time?
too in the
When?
duo last night we played.
There it is. See? Look at that.
This guy's lying.
He's got my back.
Intentionally
I would-
spreading
no, I don't
misinformation on
lie.
the internet.
Sean believes
never
in me,
lie.
Mimi. Why can't you believe in me the same way?
I don't believe in you. You're not real. You can't hurt me.
Okay, guys. Well, look, real quick before we jump into some more discussion on these two teams, we do want to let everyone know that there is a tech issue on the stage right now, so we're going to get that sorted out and all cleared so we can have a nice, fair, competitive matchup in a moment. So once that is ready to go, we will jump right into the action. So bear with us for the time being, and we thank you so much. That being said, let's go ahead though and move on as we talk about Evil Geniuses a little bit more. And yeah, let's just go ahead and dive into some of these players here. What's up, Mimi?
We're looking at Ethan. He's a pretty good player, but I don't know. I don't really want to talk about him. Can you explain why Ethan is so good in terms of gold player would understand?
Oh, well, I'll tell you why. In terms of gold, okay, in this, a lot of our viewers are going to understand. He shoot good,
Okay.
right? When he shoot, you see how the little thing pops up on their head, like the graphic? That means
Yeah.
he got a headshot. Mimi,
Okay.
Right? So because he ends up getting a headshot, that means he gets kill. Kill good, team win. That's how you play Valorant.
That's
Boom.
really interesting.
Solved
Can
it.
we maybe play that B-roll again, and then can you do
good.
like an immortal level breakdown? Can we
Yeah.
fix that?
Nothing about utility in there, no?
No.
No,
Not at all. Play the B-roll again.
Okay, Sean, go ahead.
So actually, Ethan, he's one of the more impactful players on this team because he's playing a lot of the initiator roles. He's setting up his duelists, and a lot of these rounds in the post plant, that's when he's coming up big because he's not first in, he's not contact in. When he's playing Sky, he's constantly getting info on split. When he's playing Breach, he's stalling out A hits. He has so much impact with his utility, Golden Boy. Not just the headshots.
I feel like we both said the same thing.
It was close. I think you missed a little bit about the utility, though.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I learned a lot from both. He shoots heads good. He used util good.
Yes.
Like, I think that's the even ground here of, like, I think I earned, like, a diamond level understanding with both of your knowledge combined.
Hey, look at that.
Which is pretty
You're
good.
in the middle of the Venn diagram.
Way to go, man.
Yeah.
There you go. High five.
Is this the creation of man?
All right, guys, but obviously, though, as we continue to break down some of these players and we look on the other side of the stage, we've been talking a lot about EG, but let's shift it over to Leviatán because we don't really get to talk about him all that much, and he's so damn good. It's Shy. He's been so instrumental to this team.
Yeah, and they couldn't have picked a better time to rotate him into this role. He's been pretty much an exclusive killjoy, actually, for the last couple months, and that's exactly what the team needs in this meta. Now, it does make them a little bit confined when it comes to their comp diversity, right? We don't see a lot of Cypher out of them. We don't see a lot of situations where they're running no Sentinel because he has been very dominant on this Killjoy role. And I think that he is a big reason why they're capable of having the discipline and the organization that they have. He holds it back, anchors his site, and that allows the other side to be a little bit more loose and explore the map and be able to create aggressions on the defensive half.
I think he also does a really good job of knowing when his team is close enough that he can commit to hard anchoring and buy time for a rotate to come through and support, and when to play for retake and play back. His understanding of the role is fantastic, playing at such a high level for a guy who only switched it over to that one this year. Shy's flexibilities continue to be fantastic, and also, in your fantastic words, he shoot head good.
He shoot good, and I think that's part of the reason why we got to talk about him a little bit more. But let's get some predictions. Who do you think's going to win, Sean?
I would be crazy not to go with Leviatán. I mean,
Sure.
They looked pretty good last week against 100 Thieves.
What do you think the score line is going to be?
Oh, man. EG's been playing everyone so close.
They always win a map.
I
always
think
win a
those
map.
two super close maps. I don't think EG pushes them to a third today. That would be great if they did, but I think they just play Leviatán close. I think this is a different Leviatán team where they start to turn the corner and maybe make that push towards playoffs.
This seems to be the weekend of stomps. I'm almost of the opinion that Leviatán will fix some of their issues from versus 100 Thieves and maybe just run away with this one, but every time I've doubted EG, they've proved me wrong.
That's true. You can't sleep on EG. Honestly, both of these teams are going to bring it on this stage, but our next two teams, folks, are ready to go. So let's go ahead and welcome to the stage Leviatán and Evil Geniuses. It's yet another David and Goliath battle for evil geniuses as they look to take on Leviatán. But perhaps, if history has taught us anything, maybe EG might have that dog in them to be able to take a map, maybe even the series, against a very game Leviatán.
Both of their matches in Super Week, went all 3 maps. Both of those matches, they were expected to be stomped, but they denied that. They played close games against some of the top squads in our league. Leviatán is up there as well, and we'll have to see if EG can replicate that magic and maybe even close, but this is going to be a very tough battle for him.
Yeah, I love the difference when you watch these huddles right now. Potter obviously drilling in a lot of this game plan. We've talked time and time again about how detailed EG's game plans are entering this series. You can see she's the vocal point in this huddle. On the other side of things, Leviatán, Takalia just trying to make the vibes good in the camp, going through the players one by one. It's just the difference in how these teams approach the huddles going into this.
But
this
you know what, though?
So funny.
It's funny. All 3 of us, we know Potter pretty well. And I think I can kind of get the vibe of what Potter was saying there. I think for the most part, obviously talking team strat, but toward the end, you could tell that she was just telling them, relax. Just go up there and play your game. You know you can do it. It's just a matter of putting it together.
It absolutely is, and we'll have to see what they have prepped. Last week, when they played on Split against Loud, they were incredible on that matchup. They played such a close game, and we'll have to see if they have that same preparation now against Leviatán.
Picks and bans now. Vine goes first. Heartbreaker, but it's, you know, we'll let you pass on that one, EG. Don't hurt me there.
Both these teams were Icebox banners previously.
Now they're Vine banners.
So EG's just going to jump on over to Vine, the new map instead.
And then Leviatán banning out Fracture. They don't really play the map much, and honestly, EG has looked quite good.
I will say, though, the thing that does disappoint me is that EG just went straight for that Vine ban, because this was an opportunity for EG to maybe catch Lev off guard, maybe.
So good on Vine when Jojimo was playing the Raze, but instead they want to head elsewhere. Split will be their choice. We talked about that one already a little bit. They had a great game plan against Loud, but Levs look solid on that map as well. Map number 2, though, is Pearl, and this feels brutal for EG. In my opinion, Leviatán is the best Pearl team in the league. They've looked unstoppable. The way they play the Harbor Viper is just perfection.
It really seems like Leviatán know all the holes in their gameplay on Pearl, and the only way to beat them is to just beat them heads up when they know what you're going to do and you just win those duels.
Heineken 0.0 Ascent. It lives on. New map, still going to happen.
That's right. You thought it was done. No, no, no. The Heineken 0.0 Ascent will be our deciding map. You see how I added the emphasis there? It's called billboarding. That's what we do in Hollywood.
Really?
Actually bugging out.
Oh, well, let's see, though. And remember, the last time that we saw EG play Split, well, let me go ahead and remind you the scoreline. It was 13-3 versus Loud.
That's pretty good.
EG won. So we know that when it comes to Split, EG is the type of team that can really put it together here.
They can definitely put it together, but I think in that Loud game, there was a lot of pocket strats, a lot of weird anti-strats like the grab well into ropes. Tells that Loud have from previous games. Are they able to get that against Leviatán? I mean, they're similar comps to what Loud was running, so maybe they'll be able to get some of those looks on the Astra Viper in middle. But man, it's going to be rough for EG on the attack half.
And well, there was something like 7 games to watch of Loud on Split. Leviatán have only played this once. It was a close game against Sentinels a few weeks ago. Now they're heading back into things, I'm sure, with watching back that game, with changing up some of those ideas, even if it is going to be the same double duelist comp.
This is going to be exciting. We'll see what Leviatán and Evil Geniuses have cooked up here as we get ready for Split. I am curious if we are going to get that same thing, if we're going to get the pocket strats, if we're going to get the uniqueness. But really, anything is possible here in VCT Americas. But the thing is, we fulfilled our obligations, our duties. I'm done here. Let's go ahead and turn it over to your casters. Oh, wait, it's the great Doug and Bala.
No!
They really did that to you.
Yeah,
They really did that to you.
Yeah, they did. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. We've got Valorant on the card. Split, a map that both of these teams in Leviatán and EG, totally forgot right off the bat, have played just once, though.
They tripped you up. Yeah, no.
Yeah, they did.
And I think both these teams come out with a win on the map, too. So it's pretty interesting because we don't know as much as we will for the rest of the pool, particularly Pearl and Leviatán on that map. But EG, I mean, they just came off of a huge win last week against Loud, 13-3, like GB said. I think the idea that Sean was putting out there about how there's a lot of anti-strats that EG put through is going to be really interesting to see if they're able to get anything against Leviatán. Again, not as much tape as there was against Loud. So right off the bat on pistol. That's where they started. They started on attack, and they dominated that half.
9-3, I believe, something like that. It was dominant. And it looks like they're going to try to replicate some of that success. There's been a lot of conversation around this double duelist comp and how explosive you can get on split in particular. This double dive.
Get up top.
Just hard to handle, but Taco's so patient. He gets 2 there. That's huge. This has been an excellent start for Leviatán.
Shouldn't do any more chip, but he knows the position, and that is amazing from Mazzino to survive that situation, to put himself in that spot to get the follow-up kill off of Taco's antics.
Scrappy from EG, though, to get to this point, given how free a couple of those kills were, for it to become a 1v2 at the end. Well, it's a bit dicey, but Leviatán would come out with the win.
Almost a little gap there for him to sneak out the left, but
yeah,
both EG players in the smoke, and the gap did not exist. I think he thought it might have. Good start from Leviatán, and their pistol success continues. Such strong pistol round team. And now I'm looking to see EG's prep in these eco rounds. See if they're able to follow up and come out with a little bit of damage here. It's not the same as like the Cloud9 that we just saw, where the 30 is unbelievable for them. But they do have, again, these pocket strats, so right away, farming up Jogamo's orbs. Up to 4 already, out of 8. And this is the part right here. King in middle with his Viper orb. That was the big focus of EG's anti-strats, and you already see something here. The star placement from Mazzino. To be able to cover him and not necessarily get punished by the stun or anything like that. He could play outside of ropes.
2 spotted mid, and you're right, they should have a little bit of room to work with here. Taco's still playing up top in heaven.
Pressure. Nice dancing on the rope.
Very well done. So they push him off the angle. They now have A heaven control as well.
Nice little attempt at pinching anybody who's playing up top A ramp, which would be a mistake, in my opinion, against an anti-eco here. For Leviatán, if they walk back into Nazor, he has a nasty rope angle. And that's not going to be what they choose to do. They're going to use the space that they gained.
Yeah, I can't imagine they'd rotate back. But they sure are being patient with this.
There's 3 players here on the side.
It's a deep flash into elbow. Taco backing up just a little bit. Shy taking some damage. A flash over the top, and he had plenty of options to choose from. They might eco this thing out. They have upgraded weapons, so Jogamo has 1, but he's so weak.
They have to be careful of giving up heaven space. That's why Mazzino's so cautious here. Calm, playing aggressive, though, on top of the rope. And they lose that advantage.
Classic dealing a bit of damage, and once again, it feels like a round that I'm not really sure how EG get into these tight, scrappy situations, and Leviatán comes out with the win at the end anyway.
The plant, though, a little bit more money for EG on this anti-bonus, and damage done, so Leviatán, who in the past have focused a lot on these types of rounds, they constantly go for aggression on the bonus to find instant advantages and man down situations for the opposing team. See if they choose to do something like that. I do see both duelists over towards that A side. I see the Sky as well, Shy. The only map where he does not play Killjoy. And the Des was talking about how good he was on that. But look, they are going to be pressing A ramp and potentially trying to catch Calm's Lurka.
Yeah, 2 duelists there. And they're just denying all that space.
They're challenging with the Trailblazer.
Molly, he just swings right through it. That was bold. You can see the setup too. There was an Astra Stun behind him, the Trailblazer, and then Taco was supposed to take contact. But that Molly and Calm's just able to hold the line.
And meanwhile, he actually pushed off King. So he's not able to stay in ropes. And he has to rotate all the way to the other side of Nail, which is fine because, ooh,
big kill from Mazzino. Huge. Because you can tell the rotations were already starting to go that way. Calm had left A main. They were starting to pull over B, and it was on Mazzino to hold it as long as he could, and 1 was all he gets.
Not able to use his star either. Really trying to bring that back. A little bit of a hero play, but
yeah. Jogama just got his ult off of this. Instantly cues it.
He's full blind though.
Flashed! That would have been insane. It's just good. We're just in for a scrappy map, aren't we?
Definitely wild. And I think that comes back down to Leviatán on the bonus, trying that aggressive play, and Calm handled it perfectly. At the same time, they're really doing and threatening that mid presence that works so well against Loud. You could see King was uncomfortable in that spot. Sure, Mazzino's able to bring it back to even, but you're looking for more there. You're looking for a little bit more of an advantage early on. And I actually like that from Leviatán. I like that from Mazzino. Something that's been missing in their play is a little bit more randomness. It's super, super structured. I love this. Oh, but the grab roll made. It's perfect. That was a stun last time against Loud. So they're trying to actually just set him up and bait like there's nothing in ropes. And they almost claim Taco's life, but it is Jet, so not too dangerous for him to go in that position.
He does lose the dash, though. So you get a little something, a consolation prize, perhaps.
Toxin screen down.
Again, pressuring Calm as well. They get out of Molly. They're going to follow up with this wall. Noswer's in a good position to receive, but there's nobody really to help. Taco has to sprint over to get into a crossfire with him. But there could be a flash from Shy.
He has a nade, he has 2 satchels. Maybe enough to buy some time. There's that flash that you mentioned. But the Molly util, or excuse me, the Viper util is just so good. A 1-for-1, EG, established control. Numbers their way, and they have full A. They've also got a late flank coming up from Boostio.
And they're not even going in. They're controlling the map. What a good call in the mid-round here by Boostio. They've controlled the site, and they're controlling the rest of the map on top of it, too. Leviatán is slightly over-rotated, but you had to. I mean, you lost both of your duelists trying to pressure up through Heaven, so nothing gained. And now Demon can do as much as he wants on this site to delay.
And he does. He doesn't take anyone with him, but he buys time.
Doug, they're spreading thin here, though, up in spawn. This is expected, I think.
2 here.
No
Just
flash.
1 remaining. It's Calm mid. Waiting on the other side of the smoke, and Leviatán walk away with the win.
They just walked through a smoke
and now they
still
have
got
numbers.
that.
Calm with no mollies.
Astra Wall blocks him, too. But there's a high elevation and a low elevation.
You can see Noswer having to try to figure out which one he wants to hold. Mazzino's gotten it to half. It's going to require a challenge. The knife's not going to land. The round's going to go in favor of Leviatán.
Cheeky attempt by Calm. I like it. Looking at a dynamic situation and coming up with very interesting solutions. Leviatán, if that worked, I mean, they would have been scratching their heads at how that could have messed up. A good idea from EG, but shocking that they're not able to hold that smoke with no flash. Leviatán just triple swing through it, especially on the spam through the smoke. Somebody spam through, and then there's double swing right as the smoke is falling, too. EG have got to be kicking themselves. That was a, I mean, really well played round by them.
Right there.
They lose grip of it.
Remember, it's been a couple of rounds now that Leviatán have pushed and tried challenging Calm in A main. This time, everyone's here.
Stun on him.
Good flash. Oh my gosh, she was vulnerable too. Great response from Demon 1. He uses the blades at the beginning of the round. Boostio to only other one who has a gun here. But now Ethan is upgraded. Picks up a Phantom. I mean, how do they... King has a judge.
Yeah, playing up in Heaven, too. He's going to rotate out his screen so he can barrel through elbow, but... Nade?
Nade, decent spam.
Honestly, looks like they're just trying to bait them into pushing right now. I would love to hear fake footsteps away to get King potentially some shots with that judge, but he found a Vandal. So it's a Leviatán classic. Going into a save. And I think already they're happy with the start so far, Leviatán is. I mean, especially winning that last round when they did get out called. 3 rounds already. Biggest thing is avoiding that dominating first half that EG had against Loud. On this side, the attack as well.
That just set him up so well for the rest of the map. They could afford a couple of fumbles in the second half and still have a chance to close it out. Mind you, they didn't. They didn't fumble really at all, but it just gives you that much breathing room, that much flexibility.
I love the default star setup here out of Boostio. It's interesting because that is very basic, very standard, but they're the team that is able to mix it up the most out of probably everybody on split. Let's see if they try to punish King through that orb. They will. It's the same nade again. Forces him off, and a lot of times they're just getting through it with the smoke mail. But King retakes the space, and he still has a judge.
And it delivers. That was a judge in the hands of Jogamo as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, and they push Calm all the way back with that Trailblazer.
This is very similar to what we saw a couple of rounds ago where Mazzino was the only one attempting to hold the line B, and he's going to be there again by himself. There's a pit mid, and yeah, you've got Naswar close by up in heaven to help, but I feel like this is a lot of Mazzino.
Now that the pits stayed for a while, King gets into it, and now Naswar is rotating over, but he's already used, actually still has his nade, so Gravwell is available. That could have been really dangerous for EG to try to go into.
Perhaps waiting to see if Calm's going to get some space to maybe rotate back A, but
it's bold from Calm to actually re-explore that space after getting pushed off by the Trailblazer, but as well Taco aware that he could re-clear it and come back into it. That's a spot where a lot of people can make mistakes. Now the Trailblazers are going to feint this. The Astro Wall too. A good fake attempt again, and remember, they did do this around prior.
And they're biting. They're biting.
Taco is.
Taco was. Shy was starting to move over as well, or at least just reposition for the pivot, but Shy stayed on site now, and he shows up at just the right time. A deep flash to swing around, but better played from Boostio.
He's so scared about that pressure from Demon 1 and Elbow.
No, forget. Just one. Just one. Boostio still has. Yeah, he was just overwhelmed.
Good recovery. I mean, they bought on that. You said it. Taco Leo rotated over. Shy is constantly getting one though. And I think there, EG, with the success they've had on the fake and how good that sell was, it's right for them to think that they bought. But you could tell the first player that Shy killed there was not aware that there could be somebody on the A site. So false sense of confidence given the strat choice.
2-round lead for Lev. Get a decent buyout from EG, light armor and 2 and a Bulldog in the hands of Calm, who again has been the focus of the conversation early in these rounds.
And look again, they're baiting Taco once again.
Demon 1 went fast, dashed up mid.
They're trying to punish.
Early peak, yeah.
And this one was more focused on Mel. Everything else has been focused on taking ropes control. So they've kind of nullified Taco's position in a sense.
Jogama still has his Roomba and a nade, so you still have some utility to clear that angle out.
They're double drone through as the smoke and the orb falls. And Mazzino didn't pop the smoke again. They actually were able to hold that space. That is pretty impressive.
Naswar off of the Trailblazer on A, just got his ult online. And now they know, I mean, I guess Calm could be playing pretty far back, but that should give you some confirmation that you've got some room to work A. Remember how many times they've been pushing them back and trying to flank around that too. It's a heavy hit onto B. They've got 3 members here, one still playing mid, and they're all destroyed. Every single one of them falling. It's just Boostio now.
Great hold from Mazzino. You pointed it out a few rounds ago. He's constantly the first and only solution for Leviatán on the B side. EG haven't really recognized that, but also Mazzino's doing so well at it. There, obviously, King was there. The choice there to use the Gravwell instead of a smoke around the pillar where he's actually looking as they're coming out of the smoke is very interesting against the double dive, because a lot of time your Jet is dashing forward. Your Jet is trying to take that space really, really fast
10 seconds
and get through the smoke with a flash. They don't end up doing that, but on top of it, he's staying in the crossfire that a lot of times is broken. I think as well, all the utility that EG is using on that mid attempt, the mid control attempt, I should say, is costing them when it comes down to that B execute.
Especially when it feels like they aren't really getting much out of it anyway. They're not really able to secure B heaven if they want to do a B split. They're not really pushing Leviatán off of some of these angles.
Yeah.
So you're right, they are investing a ton of utility, and they're not getting much value out of it at all.
Well, I think one of the big things is that was where they were getting value last game against Loud.
Sure.
So right now you have to revisit this game plan if you're Potter. The good thing that's working for them, I mean, time and like over and over, they're finding the solo anchors constantly. Yep. Mazzino on the B side, Shy on the A side, with no help, but they're losing one. And then the retakes, which have been so phenomenal from Leviatán over and over and over. Still showing up big here. And for EG, I mean, it's been a rough season so far. Obviously, a lot of pressure on the team. 1-4 in the standings. And it's a must win. I mean, every game out from here is kind of a must win for them.
Yeah.
Looking for the beginnings of a miracle run, but really not expecting it at all against a team of Leviatán's caliber. I mean, their strength of schedule is just ridiculous. And this is the start of that tail end. So, I mean, some of the games earlier in the season, less pressure, all right? But they've still, I mean, they've come out with close losses against some really good teams like Loud last week. They're just not able to close out on these upsets that they're looking for. Oh, hold on a sec. Taco just got boosted by Mazzino there. That's...
Good spot. Yeah, he still has both updrafts.
Right there.
Light buyout from EG here. 2 stingers, a pistol, and then a rifle in the hands of Demon 1. Is he gonna swoop this? Nice.
Wow. And that is a big concession against the eco here. To reposition it up to heaven, which gives so much space and ropes. What does EG do to follow up on this?
You got Boostio, who's trying to threaten towards A. This is really feels like the first time they've established this much control across the middle of the map. You see NZR is taking a slight step back, still has that ult to work with. You've got Shy close by with a little bit of help if need be. But where do they go from here? Spike still playing around the middle of the map, and Leviatán have fully spread things out. Going a bit exploratory with the Trailblazer towards A, make sure there's no one there. So they should have identified at this point where these threats can be, and that deep flash should confirm things. They're gonna go into spawn.
Here.
Oh my gosh, they're gonna go into spawn, and they're gonna leave Jogamo up in heaven.
Got ult. It's a death sentence.
I don't think King was re-expecting that.
14 seconds right now. Mazzino just has to get one, fall back, continue to fall back.
10 seconds left.
And he doesn't do that.
He got his one, but he didn't continue to fall back. You're
Look
right.
at Taco, though. He's in a prime position to actually end this, but is he walking around new box? That gives up the plant, but gets him the kill.
Oh, and he just spotted
Demon,
it.
hello? Where's the call? Where's the comms?
Taco's just gonna have a field day with this. Yeah, Jogamo's mobility not enough. The movement not good enough. Taco gets the third, and Leviatán get another round.
Again, situation where EG looks like they might be able to claw it out, but not quite enough. I think Mazzino there is very happy not to fall back and look for a little bit more because he has that failsafe at Taco.
Sure.
Which is interesting. This is what I was talking about. I'm looking for a little bit more hero plays from some individual players, and I think Mazzino is showing that a lot in this game from Leviatán. Because, I mean, they're a super disciplined team.
Yeah.
Not super structured.
Right.
I mean, they have a lot of nice strats. They're very fluid, though, with it. But in terms of discipline, it's a team that's not going for too many risks. And I think that's giving, to me, that's missing the little oomph factor that you're looking for a team that should be challenging for not only qualifying for Tokyo, but potentially an actual global championship.
Looks like we got a little tech pause going on here. As soon as we get some info as to what's going on, we will keep you all informed. A cozy lead for Leviatán. Evil Geniuses, who previously found success on this half, on this map against Loud, not really finding the same degree. Really, I mean, really not even close. Remember, Ball was a 9-3 half on their attacking side against Loud, now sitting at 6-2 and just hoping and praying for any semblance of similarity.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I think what we were talking about some of the anti-strats that Potter put together, and at this point, it's not necessarily anti-strats. It's looking like they think it's a little bit more optimal against this double duelist, double controller comp in middle. But clearly, the key factor of pushing off the mid player away from that orb, not giving them space to do what they just did in that anti-eco, which was pick up the orb and reposition it.
Yeah.
That sort of thing is critical to stop if that's part of your game plan. Because like what we've seen when it has been successful, right? Where they've been able to take through ropes, been able to pinch a ramp, that sort of thing. I think Leviatán as well is ready for that. So the slight adaptation for barely anybody to ever play top A ramp, and also for the bait plays that Taco and King are doing, is really nice. And at the same time too, you could see there's an insistence to fight calm on the A ramp push, the A ramp hold. And there's also Mazzino fighting through B main in a lot of instances too. So they're looking to isolate the fights while they go for that mid control. I think the anti so far is in Leviatán's camp. fully. And so, 6-2. Leviatán in control on defense. And I really am looking for some more, like, a difference in the approach. I keep talking about a game plan shift and how I don't want to see as much focus on the middle. I do want to see maybe a double dive up ramp or something like that. Something that takes a little less utility, honestly, but also gains the same amount of space, just differently.
And they may do something a little different here. Look at him playing to the crowd.
That thing is doing flips.
Ever the showman. Ever the showman indeed. You know, it's interesting too as we think about this discussion that we've had around A main control and how Calm was has been pushed off pretty aggressively. He handled a lot of that early on. I think about Taco's initial peak. And I believe that was round 2, where he tried getting space off the Trailblazer and the Asher Stun. Calm handled that well, and it feels like since, maybe even since that round, Leviatán have been able to bully that a little bit more.
Yeah. They never really have gotten a kill on it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's nice for them to go for it.
Yeah. At least take the space, if nothing else.
Leviatán feel really comfortable right now. I mean, you saw it in the huddle. Sean was talking a lot about how Potter was really involved and how Leviatán was just like Taco, just kind of talking individually to all the players and being a lot less like high energy.
Yeah.
And I think it speaks to the stakes for them on this game. I mean, they can't lose this game. That's for certain. It's not expected for them to go for to lose against EG, but it would hurt if they did. I think the comfortability of them coming into this game is really, really nice to see. I mean, everybody really at this point is having some sort of impact. Even players who are playing off-role like Shy and Nosworth.
Sure. Folks, I have some news for you. Just a couple of rounds ago, we spotted Taco getting into a position that he feels like he probably shouldn't have been able to get
that was last round.
Last round, yeah, whenever. That feels like forever ago. It was an exploit. He should not have been able to get up on that box without using any utility, so I'm being told that we're going to roll back the round and get back into the action. But just confirming, there was an exploit on Leviatán's side. Taco getting up to an area that he should not have been able to without utility, so we'll get back into it as soon as we can. I want to go back to the conversation we were having around the huddles in particular, because it's interesting that Taco was the one who was vibing and just going player to player and just very chill, because I think he's been very public in talking about this too. He has not felt comfortable on stage, both just like individually, and then he's had some good performances, but we really haven't seen the Taco that we expect in a sense. So for him to be the one trying to talk to the team, like, you know, calm, settle, everything's all right, from that position is just very interesting.
Yeah, a lot of times, like, you break through something like that, a little mental hurdle or a little pressure hurdle, by being the example.
Yeah,
in a lot of cases. Sometimes it could be your teammates helping a lot with it, but I think Taco is looked at on this team as a leader, even though he's not the IGL, even though King is the leader per se, and a huge figure at that. But Taco definitely, I mean, at the beginning of Leviatán's story on a global stage, on an international stage, Taco was the focus. Taco was the guy who was playing the Chamber, he was playing the Jet last year, and he was frying, especially online. But obviously, King has taken a little bit of that center stage because of his performances as the IGL. So now as we work through this, I'm looking to see, you're right, Taco maybe also have a boost in performance on a game like this, a game where it is comfortable, a game where you feel happy to go into. Obviously, everybody is a threat in the Americas League. It's always possible that a team is able to take, I mean, even the bottom of the pack can take out the top of the pack. We just saw that last week, EG attempting it against Loud.
Any given Sunday type beat,
And like Sadak, for example, has talked about, like, oh, we don't underestimate anybody. I think for Leviatán it's the same way, for Owner it's the same way.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean you can't feel a little more comfortable.
Yeah, less pressure, a bit more loose, a bit more maybe willing to do things that under a high pressure situation you hesitate, even if it's just for half a second, you hesitate about making a play like that. And the nice thing is for Leviatán, I think across the board, we expect, I think Leviatán fans and the Leviatán faithful are hoping for just, well, what should be a clean series, right? Get through it relatively cleanly, and yes, any given Sunday, but I think Leviatán, and again, Leviatán fans would be expecting something a bit clean here. So I don't know that it necessarily even has to be a pop-off performance from everyone individually, but I think for them just getting through this cleanly, I think would speak volumes and pay off dividends in the long run for their mental confidence, for how they approach following series in the coming weeks too.
For Leviatán, it's Crew, Cloud9, and Loud to follow up, right? So, I mean, you're seeing EG and Crew as pretty easy opponents, but then you're seeing the top 2 in the league, right?
Yeah.
So if you're trying to actually fight for that second place, for that second seed, which I know Josh Sideshow has been really harping on the fact that you get first or second seed and you need 1 win in playoffs to make it to Tokyo.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're challenging for that, this is a must win. And Leviatán at the beginning of the season, I think a lot of people were thinking they should be challenging for that. But that loss against 100 Thieves really hurt them in that fight.
Well, it's just outrageously surprising. I don't know that anyone really expected that. Again, if you are just joining us, there was an exploit that was identified around 2 rounds ago, relatively recently. I forget what round it was, where a Leviatán player got up to an area that they were not supposed to be able to without any utility. We're rolling the round back and we're getting back into the action. I'm being told just a couple of seconds now. In the meantime, you guys get to flex your tweets. Use hashtag VCT Americas and let us know what you think. But even with that exploit or the round being rolled back in mind, a comfortable start for Leviatán. They look loose, as we mentioned, and for EG, I mean, to go back to the discussion we were having, a lot of utility used mid, a lot of time spent trying to establish map control, and they're just not getting a ton of value out of it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's been such a good part of EG's split on the one map that we've seen. But that's the thing about Valorant too, is like, one map is not really enough to see if it's a consistent thing or...
Yep.
And even though Leviatán and Loud play very similar comps and very similar styles in that middle, it's not necessarily like a guarantee that the performances are going to be the same or anything like that, or the reactions are going to be same to the same type of approaches. So we did roll back that round, and EG, unfortunately, they have to run back through the eco. But they did almost win that. So, and they've had 2 ecos where they've almost won. They just fumbled a little late. So let's see if they can do it again. Put themselves in position. Last round, remember, they were able to approach. This time, they're going for a B pop, which I love. Again, Mazzino challenge solo over and over.
And he's buying time. He's staying alive. Noswar, who's supposed to be help up in heaven, instantly gets dropped as Demo 1 gets an opening.
Oh, he's on top. Oh my goodness. Woo. How did he not die?
That Jogamo is filled down in hell.
And look, after that rollback, EG comes again with the advantage. This time the post spot is secure though.
Oh, there's a whole lot to deal with. Taco finally peeking out of smoke to get the trade. And Shy now left alone. Well done to sidestep the flash, looking for the challenge on the first. Ethan just baiting, pulling him further and further in for Calm to clean him up.
Wow. That is actually a crazy blow to Leviatán right there. To get a second chance at the anti-eco and have it go worse?
Yeah.
Because of a decision that you made.
Yeah.
That one hurts. I have to commend Jogamo there. Some insane trust in his teammate to not even pay attention to Taco diving out after he got the initial spam. Demon 1 was coming through the other side, and he's happy to try to fight the last player coming out of heaven, and it works out for him. Because Demon 1 trades his death, but also Jogamo gets the player coming out of heaven and continue to maintain the man advantage.
From 6-2 to 5-3, quite the swing. Can EG continue to capitalize on it? Jogamo has ult here. Calm 1 point away as well. They've got some tools. Noswar is getting pushed off. Now he's going aggressive. King gets 2 here.
And look, that's the trap play there against the game plan focus from EG. I wanted a shift for so long. We just saw it in the last round. But there, Leviatán bringing out the ante of their own. And that's Noswar with his showstopper instead of Taco up on the line. By the way, Taco's first stop of the game here.
Get out of here.
That certainly gets help. That situation there, the spam, and then an A to buy some space.
It's ridiculous that King is able to reposition that orb too, given the fact that they went for that trap play.
Yeah.
They have so many phases of their defensive holds right now. It's actually ridiculous. Talk about structure. That's it right there.
They're just doing such a good job of delaying. First it was the nade, then it was the molly. And they're once again, EG are in a late round situation.
Whoa, that's an advanced Trailblazer, and then stun misses! How unfortunate!
30 seconds left.
So close to being something there. But off the response, remember it was EG's eco win in the previous round, turns into a flawless round for LEV this time.
At some point, you're gonna have to give up on this idea. I mean, lovely, lovely play from Leviatán, but EG, I mean, they bit off a little bit more than they could chew there, and that's because Leviatán actually is not trying to counter. They're not throwing a molly down or anything like that off of the initial Gravwell nade or anything like that. Zeno just walks through with the stun. It's brilliant.
Get out of my way.
Zeno still playing mid, or excuse me, B. With Naswar close by. That early flash, forcing him to take a step back. But a jump peek should clear things out.
Scout destroyed.
Taco's so advanced here.
Yeah, and he's been here the last couple of rounds with no challenge because no one's been there.
Wow! I mean, knowing exactly what to do there. I know he had his dash prep, but he needed to updraft first to actually get past the little lip of that wall.
Oh, and that nade hit nail.
And this is now the first time where Taco's actually able to anchor with the op on this A site, and Shy has some freedom to go heal, to go flash, to go re-clear other things. And they might be able to fight Heaven really well, but Taco under pressure. 1 kill off of his dash, that could change things.
Blocking vision.
Hey, then being apprehensive about scaling forward and re-establishing control up in Heaven and back in spawn, but finally they do. And through that, it took a little while, but Leviatán are able to reset. Ult from really far back.
30 seconds
He's right under him. He's right under him! He did spot him, he gets a kill too, but it's traded back instantly. Zeno finding another in the molly.
Spike down,
Or,
B.
excuse me, the Orb, getting the kill for comp,
Oh,
but
that's the spike.
Yeah.
Lucy's coming up the rope right now, though.
grabs it, drops it right back. Shy with 2, Leviatán with 7.
And EG now, I mean, this is tough. I'm a little surprised Busio doesn't go for that lurk through on B. I like the patience for him to look for somebody jump peeking on that B angle, but it's way too late in the round and you're out of options on A. So instead, he actually calls for Giacomo to be the tip of the spear, but he's clearing back into space that he hasn't really been fighting, so not exactly clear on how the hold is going to be held up in B Heaven. And also made Naswar fall off, so Busio didn't have an opportunity to even get a kill there.
Taco's moved here, and King gets the opener.
Low HP, is he going to be able to get over towards Shy? It looks like he is going to run that direction. That is a timing now, where they might expect Shy to be off of this site, but King is going to go all the way to screens so that he can heal by still anchoring.
And still jump spotting. Is min-maxing everything.
Multi-tasking to the max.
Caution here.
What do EG do here? What tools do they have? They have comms pit, but that's going to require, I mean, you've got to get on site, you've got to get the spike down, maybe. Then you consider investing on ult. Just so far away from really having a control on the situation. I don't know. Okay, that is going to spot one. But they've lost having control here. Naswar's away from that.
That's nasty.
Double dipping, looking for the second too. Shy from backside, only getting one.
30 seconds left.
They've gotten a couple here.
Secrets too. And they're getting the heal back up, but when he goes for that plant, that's the opportunity to take a 2v1.
Yeah, no weapons upgraded by EG.
Casino's in trouble. Oh, Busio. They're holding Heaven, and he planted for him, but he needs to upgrade his weapon, and Mizzino has Cosmic Divide too. So he could actually flip the script. He's going for the flank.
Taco's done.
Oh, come on.
They should know now.
Timing.
Enemy remaining.
It's just on to be.
Oh, the head!
Remember, he still only has a stinger. He's got it down to a 1v1. Oh, the weapon's not great, but the timing is! The Red Bull clutch for Busio.
What is that
Last
collapse from
round in the
Leviatán? That was a full collapse. I mean, sometimes those situations in the past couple of weeks for Leviatán have looked rough. I mean, that bang 1v3 at the end of the 100 Thieves series, this one in particular is definitely rough. I mean, it's a good idea. I mean, I called it out, Cosmic Divide, to wall off the Heaven plant, but
to do it from Heaven, when you know that you are from mid-main, when you know that someone just died backside. Yeah.
still in control of the game, though. I mean, well in control. And he did not spot them there, so, yeah, beautiful.
And he gets away.
I love that he goes for so much more there.
We were talking about Taco feeling comfortable, right? Taco loosening up a little bit, taking these early fights, these aggressive fights. He seems to be returning to form.
And I'm actually really confused about that smoke from Boostio. I actually thought early in the game, I saw it before, and another pick from Taco, but I thought that smoke was Mazzino's for them to play around. It actually gives so much space and room for Taco to fight through.
You are divided.
They're going into the op again, a third time.
And the sun's not gonna hit. The orb's gonna decay. Oh, he missed. He's got blades though. Look at Jogmo trying to take the fight to him. It's a dogfight. They're both suspended in the air. And it's a flawless round for Leviatán.
Love that little mid-fight updraft.
Switching sides.
We've seen it before from Demon 1, but there from Taco. That is gorgeous. And he holds it down.
Oh, once again, an 8-4 half. We got through a little bit of a pause there. We're gonna get to see this fight one more time because that was just so much fun. But again, ended in a flawless round for Leviatán. An 8-4 half their way. Let's throw it down to the desk to break down the first half.
Thank you so much, fellas. I felt like at the end there I was watching Ace Combat rather than Valorant with the dogfight that we were watching. But overall, though, I mean, this going about the way that we had thought it would go. Leviatán in control, looking good, and EG still showing us the ideas are there. They can't close out those rounds sometimes.
It was a solid start from EG. First two rounds looked like we were going to have a really competitive map. But then this round happened where EG started off with a hit towards A, which was initially successful to get them a few kills. And they eventually, off of getting this first opening, make a really good mid-round call from Boostio to pivot all the way back off their lurk towards B. But in the late round, it ended up falling apart. And after that, EG just left out of steam in the half.
Yeah, I mean, the round with the Astro Smoke is one right here. This round that you were talking about, and then the Cosmic Divide where Calm is left in the one-on-one. Just a brutal swing round. And then at that moment, it seemed like this EG kind of ran out of steam, right? They were doing a lot of sight pops, and then they go into mid. And that's when King kind of had his presence into the game, right? The orb in mid that he was recollecting, putting in B Heaven. We saw it even in the last round, recollected, put at B. He just had so much stall pressure and so much impact in the middle of the map.
And with that stall, he did a great job of finding kills as an individual as well. It was a great half out of King. But for me, this half was really, after those first few rounds, defined by EG just kind of like flipping the rounds on site execs. We're going to go hard B, hard A, and it was just a matter of how good the Leviatán site anchors were. And consistently, King and Mazzino were holding things down towards mid and B.
Yeah, that's tough to have to go into, you know that you're going to be in that side anchor role, and to still be able to find the success that they are has been so impressive to see so far. Maybe.
This is worrying too, because it's 8-4 in the favor of Leviatán. They play double duelists on the attack.
Yeah, and I mean, like you're saying, Leviatán held down those sights, the extremities, on a double duelist dive comp with a Raze and a Jet coming at you. So now on the defensive side, EG's gonna have to force that aggression into Leviatán, and this is where things could get really hard for EG. Last week, they looked really strong on attack. This week, they're gonna have to flip it.
All right, well, let's send it back over to the casters.
Sean was saying this is where it may get even harder for EG, which is crazy to think about considering the situation that we're in right now.
Yeah.
An 8-4 half, and in some instances maybe should have been worse, but either way, we'll see how EG are able to do on the defensive side.
I mean, Split still tends in this direction, but there's been shifts based off of these double duelist comps, and I think that's what Mimi was getting at. Now on the attack side here, Leviatán has the opportunity to go really fast, and there's only one player here. It's the Sky and Ethan again. That's a lot of damage.
Yes, it is.
But again, it's going to get healed right back up, so good execute.
Healing over here.
And they're able to control the site before the spike commits. Not planning for Heaven, even though they have two A ramp anchors, is really interesting. Going to rely on the site hold.
Planted.
Just so much staying power with that heal. I mean, Shy had to top him off twice. Deep flash.
I mean, nobody's reclearing A ramp right now, and that's going to be a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Out from those two players, but we do have the flank from Demon 1.
He's just waiting for the timing.
full blind.
While everything goes in aggressive, Mizzino's actually pushing up in heaven, and Demon get one, gets the easiest kill of his life while the rest of the fight ensues on the site. Ethan gets 2 to clean things up. EG get the pistol.
That's a big 5v5 retake right there. I mean, a lot of damage done by Ethan early on in that round. Causes some of the tools from Leviatán to get pulled out, and also he just full retakes all the utility that Leviatán used in that. Not working out, and I also think that Demon 1 on the flank there on A-Rap. We didn't quite see it on the camera because the hit was coming at the same time, but he just wiped the floor with the 2 players.
It was odd. It looked like Mizzino wanted to reestablish Heaven control, and the smoke was actually, he walked behind it, and Demon 1 was just there waiting.
I think we talk a lot about how EG's attack side was really good against Loud last week, but we didn't really get to see enough of their defense side to make a judgment on it at all.
That's true. Make a good point.
Same approach.
That's aggressive. Demon 1 just tucks on the other side.
And this is the style that EG was trying to counter, that EG is playing themselves. Taka still with the kill, but they're trading it.
Spike down.
Back really well. Shy stuck with the spike too.
He's in a world of hurt.
Really nice anti-eco. Out from EG.
Last player standing.
Make it clean. Don't give King another. And all of a sudden, we're back to an 8-6, down to 2 rounds.
Toxin screen down.
Whew. 3 players swinging with the flash. Oh, the flash missed! That's a little bit of a blunder, but not going to do too much. King with 24 HP is going to rotate around.
Where is he going?
If he gets one more kill, I mean, that hurts.
Ah, orb farming.
I mean, is the B one even taken?
I bet you he's gonna go find out.
Towards an orb emitting.
Go for the orbs in mid.
30 seconds left.
Did you know where there were 3 orbs in mid?
It's just crazy to me that EG are staying here this long.
I mean, the spike's there.
Yeah.
They're happy for it.
Towards an orb emitting.
What can he do? 12 seconds left. He has to die here. And he does.
Mission accomplished. But you're right, the gap, I mean, we're just back to a 2-round game now.
Yeah, this is tough, though. I mean, a bonus with a Guardian, 2 Spectres. And EG's going to have to go for the bonus. The situation is not dire enough for them to try to go for force here. So Leviatán, big opportunity to cancel and put this situation into a little bit more difficult. I think that first half was pretty good for them. I think they could have gotten a little bit more, especially, I mean, losing that eco off the back of the replayed round certainly hurts.
Dude, they're investing a lot here.
I mean, there's 3 players here, though. They're really only expecting 1.
What?
Spike down.
Why is Shy peeking alone there?
Exactly.
Is the big question.
And they've been able to keep him back for now. It was a Trailblazer. It was the early peek from Demon 1, a Flash 2, if I'm not mistaken.
It's really interesting. This is the exact same approach that Leviatán actually had on their bonus, remember?
Yeah.
They tried to challenge Calm. And the thing is, Leviatán actually had the better setup to challenge it, to fight back against it. But they still lose the first person. Going back into this, though, the fast rotate is here. They can flood on this site against Ethan in a much different way that they played on the pistol round. He's going to be able to anchor this site.
Spike drop.
Got help close by, too. Demon 1 up in heaven. You got Jogma not far off either.
40 seconds, they're still looking for picks here, and there's 2 players having, like you said. 2 kills with the Guardian from Demon 1. Here comes the Stars. They're going to execute against Ethan.
Here.
And they have isolated him now, 3v1 on the site.
Flash a little early, not getting any info, but that nade confirms the suspicions.
Is he getting around? He's fighting with Jogamo now.
Jogamo smoked off. He still gets one, though.
Ethan's getting back into a smoke.
King is weak.
Oh.
Zeno's wise to it. 2v2 Calm with nothing but a judge.
King is 1 off the ults. That's not going to be enough to plant. And now, not looking like he's going to be able to use it if he gets it.
Calm's upgraded a weapon. It's still just a sheriff in the hands of Bustio, and there's the weapon coming into play. The molly. Ooh, Mazzino. Having to take a step back. The swing and the kill. The 3K. And the round for Lev.
3 versus 5. That's not a statement round. I don't know. That was really nice mid-round. Even though the pressure up A ramp didn't really gain them anything, they're still able to isolate the one player on site.
Last player standing.
And I think I like the walkthrough from Jogamo in heaven there. I think Ethan maybe could have snuck into that smoke and caused a massive disruption on the site. Chose not to, though. Probably because he thought it was going to fade in a second.
Yeah. Yep.
Look at the setup now from EG. It's the same trap play type thing with the showstopper in mid. That they can spring, but Leviatán again, just going out against this.
Taco dancing around 2 cloud bursts. Even then, a little spam
Up close to the judge.
He's surrounded now. Taco dealt with, and now they can deal with the pressure coming in from Garage.
Heal up, squad.
And I mean, still big keys here. I think Leviatán wants to force them in and get the pit down on the site, but they're not able to find the same type of thing that EG was doing against them, where they're finding the anchor. There's many players there. And Taco with the dash through.
Scout destroyed.
There's not enough support getting through there because the grab well is so well placed from EG.
Right there.
Jogamo still has his ult. Hasn't used it yet. So an explosive tool at his disposal.
45 seconds. Last round we saw a 3v5 from Leviatán. Now they have to work through a 4v5. 2 rounds in a row would be so devastating for EG, especially considering this would be an economic reset.
Seems like they're going to want to go A, and remember, that's where the ult is. That's where Jogamo is. He's on the site by himself. Demon 1 close by. But they can toggle around this Viper wall.
There's no more stars here available from Mizzino. So he's just using himself as a body to go take the fight. Now it's 3v5. Again, going back towards this A site, but Demon 1's still alive.
We've seen this before. 13 seconds left. Oh, they're going to have to go fast, and the ult can just buy time.
Don't rose ult, though. 6 seconds, snow plant coming through. They do get it. Can he get the kill? Oh,
this is so good.
But he got pulled off. Another attempt, and they will get the plant. So a little bit money gained. They might be able to force into this, but EG hold on in a big way. That could have been really bad for them. Good on Boostio to find that little grab well. He knew they had to plant on that side, given that I think it was Ethan was still alive back site there.
It's Jogamo, yeah. I want to see it again. Because that was so close. It was so well played by Shy, too, to flash around, give him some time to plant the spike. But you're right, the utility from Boostio was just too good.
Full send here. They did force up, actually. Against Demon 1, who has blades and can updraft here if he wants to. And then Ethan as well, who's been a thorn in their side on this A site.
Yeah. What's the cue? The deep flash? Is that what makes him go? Yep. Oh, once again, an aerial battle! This time Demon 1 hits a kill and falls to his death.
That's Jets!
Is that supposed to happen? Numbers in favor of LEV, though. Spike's still not out. Heaven control still held on by EG. And it doesn't look like they're giving up.
They can get the pit down. A little slow there from King, and Taco's dead. The mollies are hitting everywhere.
Yeah. They had their chance at it. He dips out of the pit. Shy falls. What can King do? Just one. Just one.
Whew. Anti-bonus converted by Lev, but EG strikes right back 2 in a row on dangerous situations. But they were in control that entire time this time, right? Even Demon 1 just canceling the showstopper. He just finds the perfect timings to take that aerial battle. And we're down to a 1-round gap between these two teams right now. EG looking to pull off another map 1 upset. Still behind though, still trailing. And Leviatán is finding some scrappy ways to fight into this. That's where they've shined in the past. And this is Leviatán's first time out. This is Owner's first time out in this game.
Late.
He's really trusting his team.
Yeah.
Potter gets a chance as well. I really have loved the approach from EG on this first half, or on the second half. This defense from them. They're playing fully to the strengths of their comp, of the ideas that they're countering on their attack side. The ideas that Loud and Leviatán are really trying to implement. And it's funny because just having that ante in your pocket on that first half causes them, Leviatán, Loud, on their defense to actually not fully explore some of the ideas that they've been good at in the past. Whereas EG, they're fully happy. I mean, they're really comfortable with the ideas that you can cancel in the mid control. So as you can see, it's exactly the same defensive setup over and over, other than like slight swaps about where the Raze and Jet are and where the Viper is starting in mid. But it's always this 1-3-1.
Blinded.
Full eco.
Flash is traded. Taco with blades. I mean, it's just an exchange of... Oh my gosh, that was so close. He's fully committed to sight.
This is a fantastic split. They've gotten Heaven control.
They cleared out back pillar too off the Trailblazer. They've established everything. You've got Seekers and a Cosmic Divide here.
Look at where Taco is playing. He's going to wait for a flash here, and he's in such a good angle. Cosmic Divide's going to cover spawn. And at any point when EG wants to spring through this wall, there's going to be a disgusting setup here from Taco.
Are the Seekers enough for him to go? He can take so much space too.
Flash is back up.
By. Cosmic Divide buying time. And the molly delays. Jogmo's gonna have to go. He's gonna satchel his way out. You haven't heard the satchel! It's only a dink! Taco still has one.
It's all for this Heaven control now.
I mean, Taco's gonna have to do this thing on his own, and yeah, there are way too many targets for him to deal with.
It's their time.
King's gonna have to swing this out very quickly. He cannot.
He goes for that kill on Jogmo.
Yeah, maybe.
All of a sudden, that could have shifted, but EG again control a scrappy round. It's not a team that you actually expect to be great in the scrap. Actually, in some of their early series against Cloud9, for example, they fell apart in those situations. We're really seeing some growth out of this team in the last few weeks. What a shot from Boostio, too. Leviatán not committing to the full ideas that were available to them there. And all of a sudden, we're 9-9, tied up. EG, a big chance at this.
And it's been all scrap. The last 3 rounds for EG have been these tight, messy situations. Which reminds me, we kind of had the precursor to it at the very beginning of the map. We were warned for what we were in for. Deep hit out from Calm this time in B, fully controlling that area.
I think expecting, given that there's been a couple of full approaches towards A, expecting maybe some control of B this time. Instead, it's back to the mid control, and EG's actually, given the fact that Calm has to be at that B site at the beginning, they've given up the mid protocol. Instead, they fall back into that second stage that I talked about for Leviatán, where they put the orb up in B heaven. So Demon 1 paired up with Boostio over here with the op. And Demon 1 can actually take a lot of attention here. Hey. Give Boostio the opportunity to go crazy here.
And if that's enough, Ethan is just rotated over.
Leviatán is, I mean, they've been really focused on clearing ramp before taking A, though.
Shoulder spotted, damage dealt, off the smoke, the spam, and the kill.
30 seconds left.
Now, Ethan, he could be pinched here. Oh my gosh. Ethan's not pinched. Leviatán falling with a couple.
These Jet players are so fast, it's ridiculous.
He's got the op, but it's up close. King's gonna be the first to swing, and he gets a kill onto Demon 1.
I mean, bold, but full confidence from King. That's why he wears the crown. Calm is so slow on the rotate now, but Jogmo is still finding King up in heaven.
A 2v2, another scrappy situation. EG have thrived in these circumstances. And another opportunity presents itself, this time for the lead, late in the map. Time dwindling away. Jogmo on the satchel. Taco with the spam, and it's another one in favor of EG.
What a good molly there from Calm to force the players to swing backside. And for the first time, EG takes the lead here on map 1. On their map pick.
30 seconds left.
This defensive side has been really nice for them so far.
One enemy remaining.
They've only lost one. Second timeout very soon after the first. Owner sees this is slipping from them. Owner sees right now what could be a catastrophic loss on the first map after being in full control.
You could even see a little perhaps frustration or disappointment, you know, use whatever word you want to use in Nosworth's face right before the break, just like we let that one go. That's another one. These are starting to pile up, and they really are. Again, what, 3 rounds now? Late round situations where things could go either way, and EG have just been able to navigate the chaos flawlessly.
And you were actually looking after that 1-round win that Leviatán had, that they played that 3v5 really well. You thought that they were going to start really working in those situations. Because, again, this is a team that has been historically known for thriving in the messy situations. But they've actually only won 2 of those 4v5s. EG is capitalizing on those early picks. 7-2 in 5v4s. So Demon 1, now that he has that op up, I mean, some of those early rounds are because of Guardian picks.
Yeah.
Not even the op online. This time, and the last couple, it's been up. Stinger Force coming in for Leviatán at the timeout. Still looks like a 1-3-1 approach from them. Takes some mid-control, but same thing for EG.
Make some chaos.
Are they going to dive on this? They might. They're pinging it out right now.
They've got the op here. They've got Jogama Showstopper here. And a hand spotted. You can feel it. We're set up for something here. Oh, early spam kill onto Taco. And an early out shot from Demon 1. These two duelists have been having a field day these last few rounds.
And they're playing so well off of each other, too.
Yeah.
I mean, Demon 1 peeking back after that, and
Spike down mid.
he's feeling it. You already see it in the posture that he's taking, too.
Remaining.
The double duelist might make this Stinger Force completely obsolete. And they do. What a combination for the two of them.
Demon got 3 kills in that round and only saw 1. That's crazy.
I mean, Jogama also spammed right through the smoke, too. Gross. The Stinger Force have a lot of bite to them. There's venom in them. But they just completely neutralized it.
One enemy remaining.
Got the antidote. And Leviatán was not even able to get into the position where the needle will strike.
Dog, they've won 7 of their last 8. This is, I mean, Leviatán have to win this round. There's just no other way to really put it.
What a comeback, too, from EG.
Yep.
In a situation where I was thinking, oh my goodness, like losing your map pick, you're going Pearl next. Where Leviatán is 4-0 on. I was thinking the series was over. Instead, now, we look to a competitive series.
And
This is the second worst team in the league by standings. Punching way up. That's 2 matches in a row where they're doing that. Against the South American teams, 3 in a row of those. But they just haven't able to been to close out. It's always one map win, like Mimi said on the desk. They always get one.
They bait us.
Is it this one? Or does Love still have more to play?
Blinded.
Flash getting some info from Ethan.
Oh, the spam could be
Watching
devastating.
this spot.
He chooses not to do it this time. Perhaps apprehensive with the Vandal in hand. Wanted to give position away. That flash.
Taco's pushing.
30 seconds left.
Not quite going for it. Grab ball out. They baited all the util out now.
Once again, this is chaos. Jogamo and Ethan trying to hold the line by themselves. Jogamo
Shorty!
goes. Ethan gets 1. The ult for Jogamo gets another.
Can he get out?
He doesn't want to get out.
Down A.
Takes 1 down with him.
That's Spike, though.
10
There's nobody
seconds
in
left.
position to pick it up. And there's no pace from King. They're going to save. They're going to save and play for OT. EG is dominating.
Dude, what a hold. I think it's 8 of the last 9.
What a streak.
Match point.
Mimi alluded to it. How Leviatán have massive chances on this attack side, but we are not seeing that at all.
No.
And this is the danger for them. This is the danger for Leviatán the entire season. It's been expected for them to have a good map pool, but honestly, it's like it's shifted away from Ascent to Pearl in their strength. And the same weaknesses continue to show themselves. The depth slightly missing. Sean was saying EG had that issue.
Feels like the shoe's on the other foot now. Ethan's gonna get some info with the Showblazer. Oh, actually spammed out early. No real idea of how many people are on the other side of this wall. Jogma repositioning. Remember, it was Ethan and Jogma in the previous round who did most of the dirty work.
I mean, I'm looking at the util right now. This is slightly a broken buy from Leviatán, but Mizzino doesn't have any stars right now. Only one. So when you look at the execute, you need 2 stars on all of these sites. How are they going to make this go? Against the anchors that have been so strong, they're going to challenge A again, Doug. That's like, what, 5 rounds that they've just been decimated.
Demon 1's not even here. He's on the opposite side of the map with the op. Flash into heaven, not getting anything because of Viper Wall. Now it goes down and is traded right back. Jogamo, no ult this time. But can he find the same success? No. No. They've cracked the site open. This is when Mizzino strikes too. You see off of that contact and off the spike being planted, he's going to have a late lurk.
Are they going to consider it? No more stars for the Gravel. God, he's going down. He's got a shorty.
But he's so weak!
Punish you.
And off of that, Boostio realizing he's in trouble. He's surrounded, he's trapped, and he's dead.
I think they actually were considering saving there. I think that's why Calm is walking away. Given Demon 1's position, they have the op. This is really interesting. They have Bank here. Leviatán with the second lease.
Very interesting. You think maybe, you know, again, given the economy that EG have, as you're just saying, and knowing that Leviatán have been just fighting for scraps.
Yeah.
For these last couple of rounds, you try to hunt and drop a weapon or two, but...
I mean, there's 2 ways to look at it, right? You're saving Bank so that you could have an entire, every single gun round down. Which, unfortunately, they don't even get at this point. Or you go to challenge the Bank out of Leviatán, which is so weak. I mean, they haven't garnered any rounds.
Yeah.
Their loss bonus is going to be reset now. But you let them save 4 rifles. In a different world, you might see them, you know, take 2 kills before losing all the guns. And that could have, I mean, drastically changed the situation. Maybe they're considering Taco's knives. There's so many variables. And that's what Boostio has to deal with right now. Round 23. Can they close it out here? Here is that dive into mid that I was talking about. Both of the players on Leviatán going for it.
And one of them's already dropped. Jogamo once again holding things back. Mizzino behind the box, and that's a clean swap. They finally explore B.
Oh, fast Seekers popped.
They have some heaven control, a 2v3 here.
Dash active. Both Seekers. One broken, the other one taking, I mean, just a ridiculous route. It's gonna fall before it even targets anybody.
There goes the dash. Do they have a flash? No, they have nothing. They're just gonna have to contact the Rayout, and there's an op there! Blades online, looking to deal the final shot, and it's Boostio who cleans it up! EG take map 1.
Some resilience from the Evil Genius side of the stage shown in this game. Something that I think has been lacking for them all season long. For it to show up now against Leviatán is massive. Remember, that was an 8-4 first half loss. After what we were expecting to be a really nice attack side from them, they shifted and held on the defense. Split continues to show that streakiness. And Leviatán, I think, definitely thinking they missed an opportunity here to go for a clean 2-0. Instead, we get the scrap. Instead, we get the mess.
And in that mess, Evil Geniuses find tranquility, they find resilience, and they find a 1-0 series lead in the most unconventional of ways. The fortunate thing, perhaps, for Leviatán is we know that Pearl is on the other side. We'll see if they're able to take the win there. We'll be right back.
gives you wings.